as we're saying,
I can barely hear.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, though your video is off.
Okay, good. So we are at the level of storytelling. Storytelling. So if I may, I ask you, what's your understanding of story?
What's my understanding of
a story?
A story is a recount of an event. It could be fiction. It could be real life event. And yeah, it's put in a way, sometimes dramatic, depending on what voice you want to give the story, or to help give the listener a visual image of whatever you're recounting.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, I love the fact that you talk about it could be fiction or non-fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be true or not true. That's great. And in our context, our story speakers, our stories should always be true, because when you're telling a story and it's not true, your audience can easily detect from your body language. And again, we talk to very, very smart human beings nowadays, and they can check out, they can find out within the shortest time whether what you're saying is true or not true. And the moment they realize it was not true, that can cost you a lot as a speaker. Because as I'm talking, people on their smartphones doing fact checkings, they're doing fact checkings, and they just want to prove and disprove you or prove to what you're saying before they proceed. So we live in a very smart world, so we should be careful with the kind of stories we tell. Let's be sure that the stories are true. Again,
question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
How would I fact check a story about myself? If I were telling a story about myself, and which is not true, but which could aid my speaking, right? That's something they cannot fact check.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point, right? But again, come to think about it this way. What in case later on they have to do their research? For instance, let me say I'm telling a story about maybe the secondary school I came from, and instead of saying GBHS Tolon, that's my first school, I say GBHS at Telam, right? Instead of saying that I come from Ndum Uku, I say I come from Ngam Uku. You see, the truth is that nobody will be able to fact check whether I'm from Ndum Uku or from Ngam Uku. But again, as the days are passing by, some people can just want to, not necessarily to find out whether what I said was true or not. They could just hear something about Ngam Uku or Ndum Uku, and they want to find out. Maybe they say Ngam Uku, they was like, Ngam Uku, where Oliver is coming from, and all of that. And somebody tells him that, oh no, Oliver is not from Ngam Uku, but from Ndum Uku. And then you already said that you're from Ngam Uku and all of that. So the person, but you said you were from Ngam and all of that. So you see, there's going to be some controversies in the person's mind. And again, from that day, anything you'll be saying and the person hears, he will not believe again, because he knows that maybe along the way it will be faulty. It's going to be faulty. But the person did not want to check the facts. It just coincidentally that happens. And you took a bad track on his own train of thought. Yeah. So,
okay, so what we're saying is if it's fiction or if it's not true, you can actually say in your story that at the end that this is not a true story, or not all the facts are correct, you know, because you could, I've said stories before and I've intentionally exaggerated them for a certain effect.
Right.
Then after I can say, yeah, some parts of this story are true, but I actually wanted to make a point, so I magnified some things, you know.
Right. It's very important to communicate that. Very important for your integrity, for your professionalism. Yeah, it's so important. So I love that part of it. Again, stories are so important. See, you can only remember the best of your primary school teachers, of your secondary schools, of your university lecturers, most of the times because of the stories they told you in class. You see, the memories you had of them through the things they were telling you and all of that. So you can recall a story for a long time. Your brain can keep stories for a longer time than statistics, than facts, you know, than questions. And that's why it is so encouraging to tell you stories as a speaker to cut across your points. Very important. Very, very important. So one of the greatest tools of a speaker is your ability to tell stories. And how do you tell stories? You start to tell stories not by saying, I have this funny story I want to share with you. You don't do that. You know, because most of the time, the stories you announce them as funny, by the time you're done telling them, people don't really see the funny in the story most of the time. So it's always good to dive into the story. Just by saying something like, yesterday I came across a certain old classmate in the market. You know, that's how you start your story. Instead of saying, I had this funny story that I want to share with you. Yesterday, no, again, you can start stories like once upon a time, there lived a beautiful couple in America, in the state of Texas. That's a way to start a story. Once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time. You see, you can also start a story by saying, it is unbelievable that I was able to, you know, meet an old classmate, which we have not seen for 30 years, yesterday, when I just landed at the airport and I was coming out. I bounced on this person. Stories are very intriguing when you don't announce them. You just start telling them. And you begin in an unexpected way. So as a speaker, always begin in an unexpected way. Well, one thing that speakers we must avoid to do, right, is this. Avoid as much as possible, you know, announcing the stories you want to tell. You have to make it in a way that anytime you want to tell a story, the people should be craving to hear the story. They should be yearning to hear the story, right? You don't want to let them predict what you have to say. Avoid making your audience to predict you, to anticipate you, to know what you say, to know the normal way you do presentations, the normal way you tell stories. Making a way that they should be trying to figure out how you're going to end your presentation, not knowing exactly how you intend to end the presentation. Because when your audience can begin to predict you, that has to do with the kind of humor you create, the kind of emphasis you give, the kind of pauses you give in the course of the talk. When they begin to predict you that, hey, at this point, this is what you do. At this point, this is what you do. At that point, this is what you do. This is how you react on the stage. It becomes very, very, very sad. It becomes very sad. And that's why there are people You should not go to speak somewhere and you're beginning and everybody knows that this is how you're starting. This is how you're always starting your presentation. No, no, no. For instance, that's a mistake I used to do in the past. There's a story where I used to tell when I'm starting my presentation at times, like I came from a family of 7 siblings, 1 girl, 6 boys. When I was conceived, my mother wanted me to be particularly a girl, and she went to the market and bought only girl stuff for me. You know, again, when I was delivered, I was boy, and I was growing up, always putting girl stuff. And today I speak like a girl because my mother wanted me to be a girl. So this is a self-deprecating story. But again, many people know the story, that this is my story. So people should not go and hear that I'm talking and they expect to hear the story. No, no, no. So I have to change the story all the time. So why am I changing the story? Because I don't want to be predictable. I don't want people to feel like, hey, this is the story he's always telling. When the people know that this is the story you're going to tell, you become bored. You become monotonous. And you don't make a good speaker. So be unpredictable. Be unpredictable. It goes again like this. When you go to speak, at times you're having a normal conversation with somebody. Before you say 2, 3 words, somebody's completing the words for you. Before you say 3, 2, 5 words, somebody's completing the word for you. Have you experienced that before?
1 or 2 times, yeah.
Great. So this is what you do. That's not a good practice. It's not good to complete people's words, because anyhow, we're coming to another session when we'll be talking about listening as an act of speaking. You'll be discovering some of these things. So avoid allowing people to conclude your words. That's very dangerous. So this is what you do. This is how you avoid people from concluding your word. For instance, if I'm saying something like, tomorrow in the morning when I get up from bed, the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to read my Bible. If I'm saying the first thing I'm going to do is that, and you will conclude by saying you're going to read your Bible, right? Then if that is what I intended to say, and this is what I could do, I could say, not actually that wrote, but I'm going to call my pastor before I read my Bible. You see? So the moment the person is concluding with what they intended to say, you say something like, not actually that, not actually that. You see that? Not actually that, but I want to maybe to take a shower first before I read my Bible. You see what is happening, right? So if you listen to top speakers, professional speakers, international speakers, they don't allow people to conclude their words. I've learned this the hard way. Anytime somebody's concluding your word, you deny it, you refuse it, that's not the thing you wanted to say, by saying, not actually that, not actually that, but I want to, that's so powerful. Okay, going further. Seek feedback and continuous learning. This is very important. So there's this lady, her name is Williams. What's the other name? I think I'm going to get the name and share with you. Williams. The last name is William. The family name is William. So she is actually becoming a very powerful speaker in the United States now. And when she started her presentation, she always record herself, like I always emphasize, record yourself, and then listen to you after you have spoken. Listen to yourself after you have spoken. And then watch your body language, watch your words, watch your mouth movement, watch your eye contact. So it's always good to seek feedback and work on the feedback. Seek feedback and work on the feedback from your audience. That's very important. Seek feedback and continuously learn from the feedback. Because like they say, feedback is the breakfast of champions. So if you don't want to become a champion, don't work on feedback. But if you want to become the best of the best, get feedback and work on the feedback. That's why when we give assignments in class, we want you to do it so that once you do it, we can be able to observe how well you've gone, and so we can give you feedback so you can work on it. So it's always good to keep this in mind. When you record videos, it's for us to watch and share with you feedback so that you can improve, you can do better and better and better and better again and again. So that is the package for today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good. So do you have any question?
No.
Great. So today we're looking at mastering the art of public speaking, a guide to becoming a world-class speaker. The first thing we talked about is embrace your passion. Choose topics, choose a department, choose an area or a niche which you're passionate about. Choose a niche or an area which you are passionate about. So you have to embrace your passion. Then you have to build strong content. You have to build strong content. After you embrace your passion, build strong content, and then understand your audience, craft a powerful openings. And we also talk about under crafting a powerful opening, you have to be able to master your F15. That is, how do you kick off from the stage? In the next slide, we're also going to be looking at how do you learn? Because once you kick off, you are also supposed to learn. One of the ways you can learn is by using quotes, summarizing stories, and some powerful claims again. And one of the best ways to learn is to bring a powerful quote. When you balance the quote, when you punch the quote, you would take your seat while the people are thinking and reflecting about what you've said. That's one of the most effective ways to learn, by bringing a powerful quote. So utilize effective body language. And again, master the art of storytelling, which is very powerful, which is the key point. This is my favorite. Yet 6, master the art of storytelling. And 7, practice. Practice times 3, practice again and again. 8, seek feedback and continuous learning. That was it for today. So what is the assignment for today? The assignment for today is that you're going to record a 3 to 5 minute talk on your favorite topic. And then I want to see how you start the presentation. Starting like, how do you start? We're talking about the F15. How do you start? You can choose only one way to start. You want to start with the quote, that's good. You want to start with this challenging question, that's good. You want to start with a claim, that's good. You want to start with a statistic, that's good. And again, how do you earn? You want to see that you end the presentation with a powerful quote, with a powerful claim, or with a powerful statistic, or the powerful story, right? You can either start F15 with the story, statistic, quotes, claims, questions, or you can end with stories, quotes, statistics, and claims. So you record a 3 to 5 minute video, and you have to begin with a powerful story, quotes, a question, or statistics, and you also end with one. That is our assignment for today. Okay? Great. Is it understood, please?
Yes, that's fine.
Great. So we are supposed to submit this assignment before 12 noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Great. It was a wonderful time today. Looking forward to receive the assignment, review the assignment, and then we meet again in the next class. Have a wonderful time. Regards to the precious family there.
Thank you. And do the
Great.
same.
Awesome. Great.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay.